Okay, so we're going to talk about drawing the head of the figure. Okay, so I usually tell people, you got to think of it, when you're drawing the head, it's basically a circle with kind of an overlap in it, okay? And so what happens is that oval, it's about a third longer than this sphere. So, or this circle, if you want to think of it that way. So if you split this up into like threes, then, that extra third is basically the length of that oval, or how much longer that oval is than the circle. Okay, and so even if you're looking at the head from a front view, I still try to think of it as being a circle, a little more of a circle at the top, and then again, part of an oval shape at the bottom. And the reason why is that, especially if you look at a skull, you'll be able to see a little bit of the side of the head where it kind of bulges out a little bit. Okay, and what will happen is that right around here by your forehead, you'll see this little bone, okay, that kind of goes off to the side. Okay, and so, because your head just kind of bulges out a little bit. All right, so I'll kind of clean this up here. And so then you saw I put this line down the center. Okay, that just basically helps you figure out which direction they're looking horizontally. So if they're looking a little more to the left, the line's going to be a little bit over. If you're looking more to the right, the line's going to be over the other way. Okay, and so if someone's looking straight at you, okay, so basically, looking directly at you, right in the middle of the head, that's the center of the eyes, okay? And then from that line, from the eyes to, from the bottom, between the eyes and the chin, is the nose. So halfway down is the nose. Okay, so we'll just kind of put a little marker there. And then from the nose to the chin, it's not exactly a half. Sometimes you'll see it being listed as a half, but it's a little more like a third. Okay, so it sits up a little higher. That's the center of the mouth. Okay, and so something else to keep in mind is that your ears, everybody's a little bit different, but for the most part, your ears, the top of it lines up with the center of your eyes, and then the bottom of your ear lines up with that bottom of your nose. We'll put a little ear over here. Never been great at drawing ears, especially from this point of view. And so then also what ends up happening, it's something I noticed that, your jawbone will kind of slope, and all of a sudden it kind of changes angles. It's pretty close to where that center of your mouth is. Okay, so it goes down, then it kind of changes angles. Okay, and again, lines up pretty close to that. Okay, so again, remember, this is the center of the eyes. So I'll just kind of draw a little bit of like an eye socket. And we'll, we'll kind of just block it in. Okay, so what ends up happening is that there is essentially 5 eye widths going across. So it's like 1, really, well, it's 1 here. There's 2, and then there's 3, there's 4, and then there's 5. Okay, so between the eyes, there's about 1 eye width. Okay, so that's something just to keep in mind. And I'll, I won't get too detailed with this, but I'll just kind of sketch out a little bit of an eye here. There we go, another eye. Okay, so where your pupils are, think of it, obviously the very center of your eye, darker part, right? If you come right down, that tends to line up with the very edge of your mouth. Okay. The inside right there where you can see sort of where the tear duct is, if you bring that straight down, that typically gives you the width of the nose. Okay, so again, like where the nostrils are. Okay, and so, you know, again, that's the basic proportions of the face if it's someone looking directly at you. So obviously if we're drawing someone in more of a 3/4 view, and again, this is where I like thinking of it a little more like a circle with an oval over it. Again, it ends up being about 1/3 longer than the circle. Okay, we'll just go there. And again, I like using that line. So what everybody does, you'll see it in all the drawing books. Okay, that again shows the center of the face. But since they're turned this time, the figure's turned this time, then you know, it's going to be a little more to the right side. Okay, so that's, again, center of the eyes. Again, I'm just estimating that, you know, about halfway is the bottom of the nose. Again, about 1/3 of the way is the center of the mouth. And then I always like to think of this a little more three-dimensional. And again, sort of matching what I see here. You see that little arch. Okay, so that helps me remember that this is the side of the head. So if our light's kind of beaming down from this side, again, I can kind of shade this in. It helps me make that feel a little bit more three-dimensional. Okay, and so, you know, your ear, again, the ear will still be in the same spot. Okay, and so as the head moves, you know that those things stay consistent, so that's why it's easy to kind of map those out. Okay, so it'll end up happening, your eye will be over here, one of the eyes, and then of course you'll have another one over here. Okay, so again, if you figure that, say, the pupil's there, bring it down, that's going to be the edge of the mouth. And again, the other pupil's over here, and you bring it down, that's going to be the edge of the mouth. So again, you can use the same things to help you draw it from a different, you know, different point of view, different perspective. And then same thing, you can use that to help you get the width of the nose. And so on and so on. Okay. And so, one thing that people always struggle with, and I sometimes do too, especially when I'm just kind of drawing it from memory, is if the figure is looking, kind of looking up at you, like their head is pointing down. Okay, so you will end up seeing more of the top of the head. And again, the idea is that you're just dealing with perspective. Okay, and so you can see here the line is a little more straight. I kind of curved it a little more. Well, it's going to curve even more when they're looking up at you, okay? And so it'll end up happening, all this will kind of get smaller, so you can't follow the exact proportions. And again, there's going to be a little more of a curve here. And so again, let's just say there's the eyes. We'll just kind of draw some little eye sockets. And so again, I know that it's halfway, but you end up kind of fibbing it because you're dealing with, you know, really extreme, crazy point of view. I'm just going to put that in for the mouth. Okay, so what I'm kind of getting at here is that if this is on a curve, and then obviously this would be 2, and then so with the mouth, when you go to put the ear in, you just kind of extend those lines, and then you know that's where the ear is going to go. Okay. And then same thing, and I guess I didn't really map it out there on that one. But if you follow the curve, get right about where your jaw changes angles. And that's where that's going to be. Okay. Kind of adjust the shape here, and there we go, kind of looking down at the figure a little bit more. Okay, so again, just by using those same basic proportions, when you're drawing from different points of view, it can still help you figure out where placement and where things are.